Good evening, Bhante. Good evening, brother.
Good evening, Aliana. Yes,
Should
we can
start now,
start.
Bhante? Yeah,
Yes.
thank you, Bhante. Good evening, Bhante and all Kalyana Mitra. Namo Buddhaya and Sukhi Hontu. I'm Aliana and welcome to Ti-Ratana Vihara Friday Sutta discussion by Bhante Dr. Ganggodawila Chandima. Today is the day 152 of this series of Sutta discussion, the fourth class of Satipaṭṭhāna Sutta with topic Sampajānapabba, or section on wise awareness, the exercise number 3 in Satipaṭṭhāna's practice. Satipaṭṭhāna Sutta is the 15th sutta that has been chosen by Bhante Chandima for this sutta discussion. In previous classes, Bhante has discussed about Manggala Sutta, Ratana Sutta, Metta Sutta, Sigalawada Sutta, Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, Sabbasawa Sutta, Patakama Sutta, Patama Samajiri Sutta, Alawaka Sutta, Dajaga Sutta, Girimananda Sutta, Chulakama Vibhanga Sutta, Chunda Sutta, and Digajanu Sutta, which Bhante has elaborated those sutta in depth. For those who have missed our previous classes, please check on Ti-Ratana Vihara Amampadana Klang YouTube channel. We have uploaded the previous classes there. We are always welcoming newcomers, therefore please share around about this class to other friends or family members so that whoever that wish to join the class via Zoom, where we can engage directly with Bhante, can contact the Vihara administrator, or you can join the class from Ti-Ratana Vihara Facebook channel, where we broadcast the Sutta class live on every Friday evening from 8:30 till 10 p.m. Kuala Lumpur time. Now let me introduce to you about our speaker, Bhante Dr. Ganggodawila Chandima, who is the Associate Editor of the Journal of International Buddhist Studies, or JIBS, which is published by the Buddhist Research Institute of Mahachulalongkorn Brajawijaya University in Thailand. Bhante was previously a research fellow at the Center for Studies in Religion and Society, or CSRS, at University of Victoria, Canada. Bhante Dr. Chandima was also Theravada Buddhist chaplain at the University of British Columbia in Vancouver, Canada from year 2012 to 2016. Recently, Bhante has joined Ateneo de Manila University in the Philippines as Assistant Professor of Buddhist Philosophy. Bhante is also the Senior Advisor to Patisotta, a virtual Dharma organization that hosts a weekly online Pali reading class, Sutta discussion, Dharma talks, and a variety of other Dharma activities. His Dharma works can be accessed at www.patisotta.blogspot.com, and we also can follow Bhante at Patisotta Facebook account. Without further ado, we welcome once again Bhante, and always thank you very much for the wonderful guidance and teaching. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Aliana, for that introduction. Good evening, Dharma friends. Welcome back to Friday TR Sutta discussion. Let us get started our discussion by paying respect to the Buddha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. So, today is day 152, and we have been now picking up the first two Satipaṭṭhānas, actually Satipaṭṭhāna exercises, which come under Kayanupassana. May I know what were the previous two Satipaṭṭhāna exercises we discussed last two Fridays? Hopefully we should have another Satipaṭṭhāna to think about what we discussed. What were the two Satipaṭṭhāna exercises we discussed in the last two Fridays?
The breath, nothing, and
Last Friday we discussed
about the position and posture.
Iriapata-pabba.
Pabba.
That means postures. How to use postures to keep our body. How to use the postures as a way of picking our body to be mindful. And then the week before that week,
Anapana.
that was the first Satipaṭṭhāna exercise. Ānāpāna-pabba. Ānāpāna-pabba means
Mindfulness of breathing, Bhante.
breathe in, breathe out practices with regard to keeping us mindful. So this way we are continuing from practice 1, Satipaṭṭhāna practice 1 up until Satipaṭṭhāna practice 36, right? There are 36 practices. So we have discussed already 2 practices, and today we are moving on to the 3rd practice. Out of all these practices, breath practice takes precedence. That means it is the most important practice. Other practices are supportive, and they are also creating us a space to be mindful through those ways. So today, our Satipaṭṭhāna practice, which we are discussing, is Sampajānapabba. Sampajānapabba. Has anybody ever heard this Pali term before in your readings?
Yes.
Sampajāna.
Wise awareness, Bhante.
Yeah, wise awareness is the translation I use. Normally, translations go by clear comprehension, full awareness.
Bare awareness.
Yeah. Some people even translate this to be, but that is more likely sati. Sampajanya. No, I was asking, have you ever come across this Pali word somewhere in your Pali readings? Sampajana.
Sampajāna is God.
Satipaṭṭhāna Sutta.
Satipaṭṭhāna Sutta's Sampajana is what we are discussing this way. Have you ever found out this word somewhere else?
Sampajāna.
Another meaning of Sampajana is intentional. Now, when Buddha talks about lying, if someone lies intentionally, and that akusala karma which one is making is very harsh at the same time, very grave. The thing is, Sampajana means intentional. Sampajana musavada. This is the Pali word I was trying to say. Let me type in here, so you will search later. Sampajana musavada. Okay. Musavada is very, it's a familiar word with you, right? But people engage in lying in different ways. Some people lie without understanding what it is, and some people lie by knowing that it is a lie. So, just like how we understand the law, jurisprudence, we understand if someone creates a lie, makes a lie, by knowing that it was a lie, consequences are very great. So this Pali word Sampajana not even comes from wise awareness. It also has roots to intentionality, maybe a familiarity with regard to something. Okay? Because Pali words carry many meanings. Very few Pali words have one meaning, right? Even if you take the Pali word Buddha, Buddha is not only used for the Buddha, it is also used for Arahants. Right? The proper word that we use for the Buddha is Samma Sambuddha, Tathagata. or Bhagavan. These are very peculiar, specific words for the Buddha. But Buddha is a generic term for all the enlightened members, right? So that is why I was trying to see whether you had some exposure to this Pali word called Sampajāna, right? So now when it comes to Satipaṭṭhāna Sutta's third exercise, what does the Buddha teach us? Now you might perhaps see a certain what you call overlapping. Do you see an overlapping with regard to previous second Satipaṭṭhāna and this Satipaṭṭhāna? In the second Satipaṭṭhāna, we discussed when going, one understands that I am going. When sitting, one knows that I am sitting. When standing, one knows I am standing. When lying down, one knows that I am lying down, right? So then why again the Buddha talks about going forward, returning, right? Flexing, bending, stretching. It looks to be very much similar to what we understood in the second Satipaṭṭhāna. Actually, what we see with regard to, maybe what makes Sampajānapabba different from Iriyapaṭapabba is that Iriyapaṭapabba, second Satipaṭṭhāna, practice merely teaches us the basic or maybe the main postures. But within the postures, there are micro activities that we are doing, isn't it? Now, when I stand, I might sometimes bend. I might sometimes flex a little bit, even my body parts. Right? When I walk, I might walk straight. I might come back, return. So those micro movements were not included in the Iriyapada Satipaṭṭhāna practice. But we can understand them in the implied sense. But they were not directly included in the Iriyapaṭapabba. That is one reason why Buddha gave another whole Satipaṭṭhāna practice with regard to movements, going beyond the postures. Another reason, you can say reason 2, could be that while someone is engaging in any posture, those individuals, so all of us, tend to involve in certain activities. We can eat, we can drink, we can be silent, we can taste. Now here, something interesting happening. I mean, Buddha is talking, even the moment that we are tasting should be a moment of mindfulness, right? And not even tasting, but also chewing, right? Chewing and tasting, they were not taken in the Iriyapaṭapabba. So that's why there are a lot of peculiar activities that which were taken up by the Buddha with regard to the third Satipaṭṭhāna, which we don't see in the second Satipaṭṭhāna. I wanted to dispel any misunderstanding when you get to the third Satipaṭṭhāna today. Why is it something similar? No, they are not similar. Because a lot of micro movements and also even certain macro movements with regard to our activities have been particularly taken and then made this third Satipaṭṭhāna. Okay, this is just an introduction with regard to Sampajānapabba. Now, when we discuss about Sampajānapabba, sometimes this Sampajānapabba was given as Sampajan, Sampajāna or Sampajan, right? Both are carrying the same meaning. All right, let's take a look at the chapter now. I'll be asking some of you to read. All right. Sampajānapabba, exercise 3. Okay, who would like to read This section we have very short sentences, perhaps maybe I will ask two participants to read, maybe 1 to, let's see, how many are there? 1 to 6, yes. 1 to 6 means
Bhante,
what?
I try first.
Okay, so you will be starting from 1.3, 1.31 up until 1.36. Yes.
All right, Bhante. Punacha param bhikkhave bhikkhu abhikhante patikhante sampajanakari hoti. Alokite vilokite sampajanakari hoti. Saminjite pasarite sampajanakari hoti. Sangati pattachivara dharane sampajanakari hoti. Asite pite kayite saite sampajanakari hoti. Uchara pasava kamme sampajanakari hoti.
It was beautifully
Thank you,
reading,
Bhante.
right? There is nothing to complain about. Very good.
Thank you,
Yes,
Bhante.
yes. And somebody else will be picking up the rest. 1.37 up until the end. Who would like to read this part? You can't be watching like this, you know, it's mindfulness. You have to get to mindfulness. Yes. 1.37. Anyone? Yes, Melinda? Let's go ahead.
Bhante, I try.
Yes.
Okay. Gatte tite nisine sutte jagarite basite tumhi bawe sampajana kari hoti. Iti ajatam wa kaya lupasi viharati bahida wa kaya lupasi viharati tababida wa kaya lupasi viharati. Samudaya dhamma dupasi wa kayasmin viharati vaya dhamma dupasi wa kayasmin viharati samudaya vaya dhamma dupasi wa kayasmin viharati. Ati kayoti wa manasa sati pachupatita hoti yava deva Nyana mataya patisati mataya anisito cha viharati na cha kinchi loke upadiyati. Okay. Evam pi ko bhikkhave bhikkhu kaya nupasi viharati.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
We'll go back now. See. Kayanupassana Sampajānapabba section on doing activities. I put it this way, in a very simple way to understand. Whatever the activity one is engaging with, that very activity can be used with wise awareness as a part of Kayanupassana. That means we don't have to always think about breath meditation. We don't have to always think about postures. Even the simple activities, even I'm talking now. I'm stretching, I'm flexing. This is also meditation, right? Even this simple micro activity can also be a Satipaṭṭhāna exercise, right? So we will discuss more in a little bit practical way. Punacha param bhikkhave bhikkhu. These are the Pali words that we have to understand. Abhikhante patikhante. Sampajānakari Hoti. We understand Sampajānakari is wise awareness. Maybe I will discuss a little bit about this word and this translation. Normally there are a lot of translations about this Sampajāna. Full awareness, clear comprehension. What else? These are the two main translations that we find out. But there is a small issue with regard to these translations. Now, if we translate Sampajāna to be full awareness, where is the ethical parameter in that translation? I can be fully aware about anything, but I still am not doing that activity with an ethical element. I might be fully aware. I know what I'm doing now, but perhaps my intentions, my volition could be unethical. So that's why if you translate Sampajanya or Sampajana directly from a literal perspective, okay, Sang means maybe full, complete. Janya means awareness, so full awareness. What is missing in that translation is the ethical part. Ethical part is the most important thing in Buddhism. Otherwise, what is the price of being fully aware? We know a lot of things what is happening, but it does not make us get to a certain ethical level. Buddha is asking us to go to Sila, Samadhi, Panna. So that's why full awareness might not be you can use it, might not be a overall translation to this Pali word Sampajana. And the second one, clear comprehension. Now, comprehensions come from comprehending. Now, comprehending could be used to understand certain Dhamma concept. Let's say X understands 5 precepts. X comprehends 5 precepts clearly.
Clear knowing, Bhante.
Yeah, I mean, if you say, for instance, someone is comprehending a concept, 5 precepts, but even that person clearly understands that particular concept, be that 5 precept, karma, noble eightfold path, but does that make the particular individual to be wise in that particular activity? Now, how many of you have been learning Dhamma so far? Right? But did that always? It might have made you a bit wiser at times, but did it always make you to the point of wisdom? That means you might have been learning by comprehension, learning by learning. Perhaps it's a mere learning. Maybe you might be learning fully. You might be learning a lot of stuff. But where has that knowledge, that learning, crossed the wisdom level? That is why it is better to put Sampajanya in a sense like wise awareness. Where is my awareness crossing the wisdom with regard to my daily activities? That is a better way to look at it. Okay. So you won't see this translation in all these sutta translations, but I suggest it is better to put this as wise awareness, not just the mere awareness, not just the bare awareness. It has to come to a certain wisdom level. Okay, so now we understood the basic English translation about Sampajanya, and now we will see what are the activities which the Buddha asks us to do or look at with wise awareness. Okay, the first section says there are 2 activities which are about gacchati. What is gacchati? May I know what is gacchati in Pali?
Goes. G-O-E-S.
Yes, the what you call verb, I would say go, right? To go. The verb root is to go, right? So, do you happen to say gacchati in your Pali text, in your readings, in your chanting, in your
Yes.
practice on a daily basis? Do you?
Yes.
Where do you say that to go part in Pali? I want to connect this to your daily practices. So when you
Gacchami.
Buddhaṃ Saraṇaṃ Gacchāmi, right? I go to the Buddha. Did you really go to the Buddha? May I know? That's a question, right? Dhammaṃ Saraṇaṃ Gacchāmi. I go to the Dhamma. How to go to the Dhamma? Is Dhamma a destination? Maybe the library in the temple, huh? So I go to the Dhamma. Is it? No. I go to the Sangha. At least you have some support, right? Yes, I go to the Sangha members to ask some questions, do some dana and all that. Right? Then Dutiyampi, secondly, Tatiyampi, thirdly. Right? So then Pali verb root, but to go, it could become, is used in many forms in our daily practices, right? Those questions are questions for you to reflect. We will discuss another time. Whether did you go to the Buddha in real terms or not? Whether did you go to the Dhamma or Sangha in real terms? So there are two activities one can engage with regard to going. Let us see what are those two activities. They are part of going. Abhikkante, patikkante. Okay. Abhikkante, patikkante means, you can see over here, going forward, and patikkante, returning. Sampajānapabba. May I know who is using voice awareness when you go forward, go straight and return? Have you ever practiced that? Have you ever looked at this particular Sampajāna or Sampajanya when you go straight and return? Maybe you might have not been able to do it because you think mindfulness is sitting down, right? This is the problem. Sati activities, so Satipaṭṭhāna activities for many people is to sit down and think that the whole enlightenment will jam onto the mind in a moment of time. How is it possible? It might not be possible when we look at these teachings. That means when going forward, that means we always go forward. Even you go from your kitchen to the bathroom. Even when you go out of the house, when you return to the house, who was able to think that going forward and then returning back to the house could have been used as a meditation? But that meditation is not sitting down and closing the eyes. That is a wise awareness. That means you are actually, simply speaking, what is this going forward and returning? When going forward, if someone knows that I am now going forward, when returning, if someone knows that I am returning, that itself is Sampajāna. So that means if you say that you haven't done it, that means you did not have the Sampajāna during those two activities. So next time be careful whether if you go forward, always think whether you are carrying Sampajāna or not. Right? Even whatever the things you are missing in your going forward, make sure that you carry Sampajāna going forward. And when you return, you are practicing the wise awareness with regard to that I am coming back, I am returning. Okay, so we will learn more things about it now. Abhikkanta, patikkanta means physical movement, walking forward or back. The phrase highlights mindfulness during transitions, reminding that awareness should not lapse even in simple bodily motion. Now, may I know what are the setbacks, what are the issues when someone cannot know that I am going forward and I'm returning? What could be the issues when that person cannot know that what is happening with regard to that situation?
Bhante, can it be mind distracted by something, disturbed by something?
I think there is a reason why we are going forward, right?
But
There
the
is a
mind
reason
will
why we are
come
going forward and why we are walking straight. There must be a reason. It might be a meditation. It might be for grabbing something from somewhere. It might be to talk to somebody. It might be to bring something back to a certain place, right? So one of the issues with regard to not being able to know that I am now walking straight is that perhaps I might carry negative mental states in my walking straight. Because why I am able to carry negative mental states going forward? Because I have not been able to know that I am walking straight. That is the moment negative mental states can take a toll. Even when I am returning, it could be the same thing. When I don't understand I am returning, then even at that point, I might carry certain negative mental states. Now, if you want to think that I'm carrying kusala states, then you should have been able to know that you are going straight and returning, coming back. Then you are full of kusalas. You are full of kusala thoughts, mental states, kusala mental states. Sumitra, you want to say something?
Yeah, Bhante, how about the 5 hindrances?
Yeah, 5 hindrances are disturbances to our clarity. Yes, they are the ones which are preventing us in not being able to know that we are going forward and coming back. They are the reasons, actually. They are the ones that are hindering us in not being able to know that we are going straight and coming back. I think when we discuss more activities, this will be more clear. Abhikkhante, patikkante. And then second, alokite, vilokite. Alokite means looking straight, and vilokite means looking around. Looking straight and looking around. I think we do that even now, right? If you are not looking at the screen, that means you are vilokite, right? You are vilokite. If you are looking at it, alokite, looking straight now. But I don't know where is your camera. So depends on where and how you are looking at the camera, right? So alokite, vilokite. So now the Buddha asks us, when looking straight, looking around, try to tell yourself, now I am looking straight and now I'm looking around. Not that what is up there, what is out there to look around, what is out there to look straight all the time. There is an object, but try to tell yourself that I have to initially tell myself that I'm aware that I'm looking straight and objects are secondary in that experience. But what is happening is that objects are the first reference in that experience to many people, not that they are looking straight. And even in the second experience, looking around situation, more than that they are trying to be aware that they are looking around, what is to be seen in that experience could take a toll, maybe could take a toll over the understanding that I'm looking around at this point. So it's like examples of objects are replacing the function, right? That is what is happening at that point. Alokite, vilokite. Now think about when you go shopping, right? You are looking around. Now you are not looking straight all the time. Sometimes you don't want to buy. You just want to admire yourself. And then you look around. Oh, a lot of stuff, right? And were you able to come to a certain situation that I'm looking around now? What do I buy? What do I want to buy? Right? Is it necessary for me to buy? Or I just want to look around in their experience. So I think it also can help someone to mindfully buy stuff from anywhere. Not that I simply want to spend money today to buy something from a shop, right? So again, what the Buddha is asking is being able to be aware about the function rather than the objects of the function, right? That's the larger, broader idea here as well. Alokite, vilokite. The act of seeing is often automatic. It becomes intentional. One observes the arising of visual perception and guards against distraction, no covetous gaze. And this is what is happening to many people, covetous gaze. We can even take it to certain pleasurable things. People, when you see someone who is very beautiful, right? How is their experience going on? You are looking straight. You are troubled by that experience. Not that you simply knew that you are looking straight at somebody and you are troubled by that particular placing experience. What about someone who you don't like? You bump into that person somewhere in your trip somewhere. You bump into the person or that person bumps into you. And then, oh, how come? Oh, that's a bad day today. I bump into this, I don't like, right? Then have you ever thought that, no, this is just looking straight and I'm not going to be concerned about what I saw through looking straight? That's the difference here, actually. I think we are more troubled by the object over the experience of looking straight, right? That's why Sampajāna has to come to the experience of here looking straight and looking around, rather than depending on the objects. I want to evaluate my experience of looking straight and looking around. Right? So I think there's a clear difference between those two ways of looking into or looking around experiences. And then what about food experience? Huh? Let's say you're going for a buffet experience. Huh? You just order, you don't like a la carte food, you want to go for a buffet experience. You can't look straight, you look around. Lots of food here, right? Even the dessert is like 10, 20 stuff over there. Not that I understand that I'm looking around now. Or maybe the stuff in the buffet taking me over, right? So that's another way to look at it. Anything, any pleasing stuff that in your life, you name it. What will happen at the end, before we understand this Sampajāna, is that those objects are consuming us, giving us a toll in our experience, rather than we are strengthening our experience of knowing that what am I doing now? Am I looking straight? I'm looking around. I think that is what we have to pay more attention to. And then going forward, 134, 133, Saminjite, Pasarite, Sampajāna. These are something like body movements. You can see here, Saminjite means bending and Pasarite means stretching. I think this is a very good statement for people who are going to the gym to, use dumbbells or maybe any other activities in the gym, right? Think about it. I think without their knowledge, they are doing it. They are stretching, they are, flexing, right? Even anybody who's doing yoga or any other exercises, even maybe, what is that, Tai Chi? Anything that you are doing in your daily life, you can use this bending, stretching, flexing movements as a part of wise awareness. Now think about it. I'm talking. If I just flex my fingers? Do I know I'm flexing my fingers? So I just don't notice it. If I ask, why are my fingers like this now? Maybe I ask a question from you. Or if I know that I'm flexing because I know I'm flexing, right? Maybe I'm going to put them back again. Do I know I'm putting them back again? So that even micro movement is a part of Sampajāna. I have to do that with Sampajāna. You know, with regard to certain people who have dementia, Alzheimer, or maybe some neuromuscular problems, there are certain mindfulness practices that are happening, especially when they are given to eat something. Let's say they are given to have a soup, but it's very difficult for them to properly bring it to their mouth, right? So this kind of meditation is going to be very much helpful for them. Forget about the nirvana at this point. Nirvana will be there in the right time. But here, when someone is scooping the soup and bringing that closer to the mouth, and then trying to have that sip of the soup, this experience is pretty similar to this idea of flexing and then bending and all these ideas. So that means even we are bending or stretching, we have to do those activities with wise awareness. What is wise awareness with regard to bending and stretching? Every time you bend, you stretch, you have to know that I am bending now, I am stretching now. That is wise awareness. Why is it very helpful? Now think about someone who has a hunchback, whose back is not straight enough. Are they very conscious? Are they noticing that their back is hunched? For the most part, they are not noticing. It is very involuntary for them, right? Maybe poor posture. When they are going through poor posture, maybe in a sedentary life, in an office, working in front of a computer, in the house, right? What is going on with their understanding about how they keep their back? They are totally forgetful about that part because they are more focused on what they are doing in the computer and in that particular activity. What if that they are doing it by knowing that I'm going to keep my back straight, I'm bending, I'm stretching? That will really help them to practice wise awareness. On the other hand, they have a very fit body and fit mind. That is important. Buddhists must have a healthy mind and healthy body. That's why we are understanding. We are supposed to understand dukkha, tanha, nibbana, and follow the Four Noble Eightfold Path. There's no other reason. Why did the Buddha talk about dukkha a lot? May I know? Very simple question. Why did the Buddha talk a lot about dukkha? Because some people got to the misunderstanding. The only thing Buddha talked was dukkha, nothing else. Right? Why did the Buddha elaborate on dukkha? Because he wanted to tell us that there is a happiness that is lasting. That is why he talked about the dukkha. Only when we understand our dukkha, we can understand the happiness that we can get to as a result of understanding that dukkha. In the same way, here we need to know that every activity is supposed to be done with some sort of awareness. That awareness is something. There is something to read over here. This line reminds us that even small actions like bending or stretching affect both mind and body. When done with wise awareness, these movements become smoother, safer, and more balanced. It helps prevent strain or injury. I'm trying to bring it to certain physical aspects too. Reduces unnecessary tension and keeps the body aligned with the mind's intention. If the body movements are not mattering to us, why did the Buddha ask us to keep our back straight? Ujung kayang panidai in the Satipaṭṭhāna Sutta and in the Girivana Sutta, why Anapanasati Sutta, why did he ask us to keep our back straight? What is the reason? What is the reason between keeping our back straight and the meditation? There is a connection to that. That means by giving or by ignoring this body, nobody will be able to get to the happiness. And then the higher happiness called Nibbana. So it's very important to look at the medical aspects of the body with regard to these postures. In daily life, such awareness supports better posture, calmer energy, and a healthier connection between thought and movement. That is why he went into talking about bending and stretching. Every time when you bend, when you stretch in whatever the posture in your life, in daily life, you are supposed to do it. You are supposed to watch how they are happening. Not that you are trying to do, okay, now I am bending and I'm stretching and I'm trying to. In the same way, how we do breath meditation, you have to watch the natural bending and natural stretching. That is the wise awareness. Not that you are trying to say, now I am flexing, bending, now I am stretching. That is not the Sampajāna. Maybe you will start like that. But just like how we are watching natural breath, not the deep breaths, in the breath meditation, Anapanapabba, in the same way, we have to look at the natural bending, natural stretching moments in our daily life. And then, Sanghati Patta Chevara Dharane Sampajanakari Hota. Okay, this is about monk's life, but we will take it from the layperson perspective. Sanghati means rope. Patta means arms pole. Chivara means, if you say Sanghati outer rope, then Chivara could be in a rope. Then when wearing the outer rope, carrying the bowl or other ropes, she acts with wise awareness. Let us talk about your clothing practices. This line reminds us to be mindful when handling our clothes and everyday items like plates, cups, or cutlery. Are we sometimes breaking our glass cups, plates due to certain negligence in our house? And we are not telling anybody bad thing. Okay, it's okay, don't worry, I will do it, I will clean that stuff. But what does it say when it comes to making sure that our clothings, maybe the plates, if this is Sangha members, arms bowl, pata, this could be your plates and some other clothing things. That means every time when we are engaging with regard to our clothing, putting on certain dresses, even removing them, or at the same time using a certain cup, plate, saucer, a glass, tumbler, anything, we are supposed to use them with wise awareness. May I know how to use wise awareness with regard to your plates? May I know that? That's a very interesting question for you.
You're
Anybody?
aware that you're holding. When you put it down, make sure you really put down. It's on the safe place, not on the edge. Even your handphone, same thing. Otherwise, you'll drop it, you'll break it, you will destroy it. Happens to me all the time. That's why I know.
Yes, yes. So one thing is not trying to destroy the cutlery or any other those things, right? On the other hand, is it very important to wisely use these tools in our house? Yes, it is very wise to use. At the same time, are we responsible in using those things, or you are someone who eat anything and then leave those plates, cups for somebody to wash in your house? And that responsibility, right? Not that somebody else is going to wash my cups and the stuff. I'm taking that responsibility. Then only I know that I am responsible. I am responsibly or wisely using these stuff. What about clothings? How to use wise awareness with regard to clothings? It can start from buying, from the moment of buying. even to the time of using, washing, folding, it can be ironing and anything. There are not many people who can be that much organized. I think we need to be organized in our life, right? This being organized nature helps us to, look at those activities with wise awareness, right? Now think about someone, I don't know, I mean, whether maybe you are dealing with some teenagers or maybe your children, right? It might be sometimes very hard for them to, you to convince them to take care of your stuff, right? Or maybe you are the one who is going to do all that for them, right? So what we need to understand here is that on one side, buying, on the other hand, maintenance, and then being able to see what is really happening with regard to the overall experience of getting dressed, eating, drinking, and all these activities. So there needs a good amount of wise awareness with regard to the consumption or use of those things. And then acting with wise awareness means being attentive to how we hold, use, or place things without haste or distraction. Sometimes this can be an issue, right? Are there people who become very perfectionist in the house? If you grab the key, you must put the key in that place. You can't put it anywhere else. Otherwise, I'm going to be mad at you. And this can actually create a certain problem in the house. There's someone who is checking us all the time. We feel kind of intimidated by that person's activity. Rather than saying, if you grab it, please put it in the right place. You may make mistakes, but finally you have to be there, right? That kind of a very kind perspective. So all those are important stuff, right? Such mindfulness prevents carelessness, keeps our surroundings orderly, and helps us move calmly through daily routines. When we handle our clothes and belongings with awareness, we cultivate respect, steadiness, and healthier, more composed state of mind. So this is what we understand in that. And then asite, pite, kaite, saite, sampajānakāri hoti. This is a very interesting area of Sampajāna. You will see asite means eating, pite means drinking, kaite means chewing, saite means tasting. Now we have a question. This sentence clearly shows us that while we are eating, we are supposed to chew as required. At the same time, we should be able to taste it. So that means Buddhists should be able to taste the food properly. But the problem is, are Buddhists or are the people who are following the Buddha's teachings really able to taste, chew, eat, drink with wise awareness? Right? This is what is important. This line encourages bringing wise awareness into the act of eating and drinking. To practice this, eat slowly, depending on the time, and notice the process, seeing the food, smelling it, tasting it, and feeling its texture. Be conscious of each bite, how much you eat, and how your body responds. This is also a very interesting point. Enjoying food is not un-Buddhist. It becomes unwise only when we indulge or lose mindfulness. I think this is the cutoff line. The moment that we overeat, the moment we don't understand how much we eat. Eating with wise awareness helps us find balance, nourishing the body with gratitude while keeping the mind calm, content, and free from excess. Now, how can we bring about mindful eating? I think when you practice mindful reflection, when in retreats you are practicing this, right? Patisankha yoniso pindapatam patisevami nevadavai namadai namandanai navibhusanai yavadevai masakaya satitya yapanai vihimsu paratya right? This is a very traditional statement which monks and nuns are supposed to think while they are eating. I'm not eating to decorate myself. I'm eating to survive. I'm eating to practice my dharma life. And I'm going to destroy my old sickness. That's interesting, right? What is the old sickness that they are going to destroy?
Anger.
And what is the old sickness? They say, Iti Puranancha Vedanam Patihankami. I'm going to destroy my old suffering or old suffering. Puranancha Veda. What is it? Are you doing that too?
Yes.
Yes, you do. When you are hungry, only you eat, right? How many of you eat when you are not hungry? Then you have a compulsive eating habit, right? Right? Iti Puranancha Vedanam Patihankami. I destroy my old suffering. That means I'm hungry. That's why I'm eating. And then Navancha Vedananga Uppadisami. I am also going to stop creating another suffering. What is that? Eating as required. Some people don't eat properly. Then what will happen to them? They will be hungry again very fast. See how the Buddha looks at it. Or maybe they are eating not a balanced diet. Right? They are eating too much carbo. Right? Maybe they are eating some junk food. Again, they become hungry again. That's why the Buddha said, when you eat, make sure that you are properly appeasing, satisfying your hunger, all suffering, and also make sure that you are not creating another suffering now. On one way, overeating, another way, eating as necessary so that you won't be hungry for the next couple of hours. Right? Very interesting. I think that reflection, mindful eating reflection can be further delineated, expanded through this point, right? So now we can ask our devotees, other people to think about while you are eating, drinking, you also have to be mindful about while you are chewing and tasting. You can bring those two aspects also into the process. Uchara Passava Kamme Sampajānakāni. When you go to the washroom as well, you're going to be using wise awareness. Normally, these actions should not happen through what you call, what is interesting here is that they should not happen through anger. Right? Some people are very right. They are very much angry about what's happening in those moments. Don't be angry. And you are creating some medical issues with regard to that. Some people are angry. Some people want things to be very rushed. Right? Those are places to practice wise awareness. Earlier, you thought that you have to practice all the mindfulness in the temple. Now, even your washroom is a place for your wise awareness. What an interesting idea. Even you go wash your hand, right? It is also a wise awareness. While you are chewing, I think nowadays people don't chew, right? They just eat up, and eat up, right? Then they are claiming I got cancer because my food was not digested in my body, right? Why? They are not chewing enough. Because while they are eating, they are not eating properly. They are watching stuff. It might be a video, it might be television, right? They are not properly giving attention to what they are doing. So when you are not giving attention to what you are doing, what will happen is that you are not adequately chewing your food, and those food will have a trouble with regard to getting digested in your body. Right? And then when there are undigested food in our digesting process, what could happen? They could come out as a polyp. Right? When the polyp is going to be longer, they might say now it's going to be cancerous. What did I do for the last 20 years of having polyps? I have not chewed properly. Right? Maybe I was not aware about my eating experience. So that means even this attitude to chew as required, we don't have to be a cow to chew like that. But I mean, chewing as necessary for our food to be digested. It is also something that one can do when they use what you call wise awareness. Now here, even the washroom experience. Finally, gate, tite, nisinne, sute, jagarite, basite, tunhi bhave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 activities were given in one sentence. What are they? Gate means walking, tite, standing, nisinne, sitting, sutte, sleeping, jagarite, awake, basite, speaking, tunhi bhave, remaining silent. 7 activities were given in one line. That means every time when I walk, when I stand, when I sit, when I sleep, when I'm up, when I'm speaking to somebody, not even that, tunhi bhave, when I'm not talking to someone, I have to know what am I doing during those moments. Can we think about a moment that you ran into an argument with someone in your house and now you don't want to talk to that person for a couple of hours? Does it happen to you? I don't think. So in that moment of time, you are not talking to anybody, right? You are pretty silent, right? But you still do your stuff, man. Your tone might be a little different. Say, yeah, it's food I cook. If you wanna cook, if you wanna eat, if you can eat, right? You are not talking that much. So, but are we using wise awareness with regard to our not talking? Or you have been blowing up with a lot of anger at that point. So that's why the Buddha said, if you are spending some time silently, you have to know, why am I silent at the moment? Right? Normally, the Buddha asks monks to do 2 things. One is engage in Dhamma discussion, Dhammiva Kata. If you cannot engage in Dhamma discussion, if you cannot find someone, because not everybody can talk Dhamma, right? Other people might find it a little boring sometimes, right? If you cannot find a Dhamma partner at that point, better to be practicing noble silence. Not tunhi bhava, ariyova tunhi bhava, noble silence, right? So then in each of these moments, activities, remember in the Iriyapada we discussed, I have to be mindful that I am walking now, that I sit now, that I stand now, that I lie down. But here, the Buddha is asking us to think about that walking a little differently. I have to be wisely aware about my walking. I have to be wisely aware about my sleeping and those 7 activities. I think because of the timing, we have to sort of cut short these parts. And what about speaking? Are we very aware when we talk to someone? Are we very mindful? Or we just say everything what comes to our mind and then later we apologize. Sorry about that, right? I think I said something wrong to you, right? What kind of responsibility is that? Because sometimes I talk without thinking. Can a Buddhist talk without thinking? Usually not, because the Buddha asks his followers to reflect and talk. And reflect during even talk. Reflect even after talk. So you can't be a mindless talker, right? You can't be a delusional speaker, right? That's why it's very important to talk, speak with some amount of wise awareness. All right. This line reminds us that wise awareness must accompany the most ordinary acts. These are very ordinary acts: walking, standing, sitting, sleeping, waking, speaking, and being silent. Because these are the very moments when the mind tends to wander or react automatically. When you are in a meditation activity, your mind might not go here and there. Your mind will start running around and then going through issues in those very ordinary moments. The Buddha repeats the 4 postures here to emphasize continuity. Earlier, he used it in general sense. Now here he used it for us to understand that we have to continue. Mindfulness is not just about knowing I am walking. That was what happened earlier in the Ti-Ratana. But maintaining clarity through every shift in posture, mood, context. So I would ask you to think about every micro, macro movement with regard to walking, talking, being silent must be paid attention with regard to wise awareness. In daily life, this means being aware of how each action affects both body and mind. When walking or standing, wise awareness prevents rushing. It improves balance and keeps the body relaxed. When sitting, it helps maintain an alert yet calm posture, reducing strain and mental fatigue. When sleeping or waking, it promotes regular rest and emotional steadiness rather than restlessness or irritation. When speaking, awareness checks impulsive or careless words, turning communication into something healing rather than harmful. Are we talking to heal other people, or are we talking to make them really grumpy, snappy, and then all that? Do we think about that before we talk? We have to think about it. What would happen if I use this word for these people, right? So it is a benefit of being into the wise awareness. And when silent, it transforms quietness from angry withdrawal into thoughtful presence. What makes this teaching rationally profound is that it links mental discipline to physiological benefit. So all these activities are not only psychologically grounded ones, they are also bringing us a physical benefit aspect. Our posture, our mood, they all go around all these aspects. Good posture enhances breathing, calm mindful speech lowers stress responses, and mindful silence reduces emotion. Finally, wise awareness works not by managing life, but by aligning body, thought, and intention so that even ordinary acts support health, clarity, and peace. The rest is the same phrase, or these are the same phrases you can see. Now, when someone practices the Sampajāna, whatever the activities, what are the activities? Once again, going forward, returning, looking straight, looking around, then eating, drinking, chewing, tasting. And then here, the last one, walking, standing, sitting, sleeping, awake, speaking, remaining silent, right? These are, and also washroom activities. When someone is wisely aware about these activities during the time, then that particular person has to bring that wise awareness into certain aspects. I mean, these are the very formal activities that one has to do in order to make it a Satipaṭṭhāna. Because what you are supposed to do at the end is you have to bring Sati to Paṭṭhāna, right? You can't only keep the Sati, you have to bring it to establish your mindfulness. Sometimes we are mindful, but we have not been able to establish that mindfulness. How to establish it? This is how you can establish your particular mindfulness. Now here, Sampajāna. Number one is that I have to look at it from my side. Ajjata. I have to look at it from other people's side. I always mention that universalizing the particular activity experience. Now think about, I go to a place, I know that I am going forward. At the same time, I can see other people are walking straight. Okay, you are also walking straight. And I can see some people are returning. So Ajjata means my activity experience, Bahita means other people, any activity experience which we discuss under Sampajānapabba. Why did the Buddha ask us to think about all these Satipaṭṭhāna exercises from other people's perspective too? May I know? It is because Buddha wanted us to reduce our self-experience, because we acquire information from outside, and then we know we might feel that we know a lot of things. But if we miss out on the point that other people are also in their own ways experiencing these experiences, then there is a chance of creating a Sakkaya Ditti even through a good Kusala activity, which is not a good thing. So Ajjata means internally, Bahita means universalizing, and then both Ajjata Bahita. This is the first thing to do to make it establish. Second, to be able to look at the origin of activities, end of those activities, both origin and end of those activities. How to see the origin of these activities? How do I know that this is the origin of going forward and returning? How to do it? I shared with you how to do it.
Is it by practicing Yoniso Manasikara, Bhante?
Yoniso Manasikara is a normal practice in our life, but more than that, we discussed something earlier. How are we able to walk straight and return? It is because we are carrying Panchakanda, isn't it? Without Panchakanda, can I walk? I cannot walk. Because I am carrying the very core of a sentient being. What is the very core that you are carrying? May I know? 5 aggregates. Form, feelings, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. This is the very core even of a cat or a dog or a human or a deva, right? So then because of this very core of the Panchakanda composites, only it made me possible to walk straight, come back. It made me possible to look straight, look around. It made me possible to do the washroom activities. It may be possible to eat, drink, chew, taste. It may be possible to go, sit, even remain silent. Then under the Samudaya point, how are you going to establish mindfulness in that point? You are going to look at, okay, none of these activities could have appeared to me if I had not the 5 aggregate core, right? Why Dhamma means then you are looking at it from the absence of that side. If I had not had any 5 aggregates, then there would have nothing for me to watch, because I also don't exist. Those activities are also not existing anymore. What is the moment you can think about such a thing? When you die. Now you look at yourself, your body. One day when I die, my Panchakanda will be disintegrated. When my Panchakanda will be disintegrated, how can I see I'm walking here and there? Only scientists can do something, right? Now science is going very much high with regard to transhumanism. They are simulating, right? They can simulate, but that's a simulating experience, not a real experience. So via Dhamma, so Samudaya way of establishing means I have to understand that all these activities are happening because I carry the very core of the Panchakanda. Vaya Dhamma means I have to understand in the absence of my 5 aggregates, none of these things are going to happen. And Samudaya Vaya means both are to be considered. This is how you're going to establish your mindfulness in the second way. And then third, more important, Attikayotiva Panasa Satipaṭṭhāna hoti Yava Deva Jnana Mattaya Patisati Mattaya Anisitoja Viharati Nachakinchi Loki Upati. Now at this point, we all have to understand that I want to improve my mindfulness to the extent that I carry Panchakanda body, not beyond that level. What is the purpose of carrying mindfulness beyond the point of knowing Panchakanda? And at that point, I will continue my mindfulness about this particular activities, and I don't associate. That means my Panchakanda will not associate anything. At the same time, my Panchakanda will not grasp anything at that point. Once again, I already shared this you a couple of times. May I know what is the situation Panchakanda is associating something? 5 aggregates, it is said 5 aggregates are associating some other stuff. May I know what is that experience like? How do we call it? Anybody? I have already explained to you many times.
Upadana.
When Panchakanda are taken over by the Upadanas, then it will become Pancha Upadanaka. Right? Panchakandas are okay because we all have to carry them. Even the Buddha was also carrying Panchakanda until he passes it. But the problem is, whenever Panchakandas are taken over by Upadana, Upadana cannot come to our Panchakanda. Only we let Upadana come to our Panchakanda. What is Upadana?
Clinging.
Clinging towards Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Viññāna. Okay? So, that is why when someone brings or establish mindfulness with regard to any of these practices, Satipaṭṭhāna practices, what will happen is that their Panchakandas don't any longer associate Upadana. They are pretty safe. Their Panchakandas are pretty safe at that point. At the same time, their Panchakandas are not going to grasp anything. Even grasping cannot come to Panchakanda. Even Panchakanda don't look for any grasping. Right? Lobha, dosa, base, grasping. All right, because of the timing, we have to look at certain points too. Number one, in short, Sampajānapabba. Here, I want to show you another way to look at Sampajāna. How do I have the wise awareness with regard to all these previous activities? One is you can check the purpose. Is it a good purpose for me to think about? Is it appropriate? Is it properly focused? Is it free from delusion? Some more. So these four tips are very important to check whether you can bring wise awareness. Right? One example is that, let's say, I am now going forward. Why am I going forward? Is it for an ethical purpose? Is it appropriate for me to walk straight? Am I really focused? Is my focus of going forward an ethical activity? For the most part, sometimes we are going for nothing, right? So please see these interpretations as well. Okay, awareness during transitions prevents delusion. We discussed that in details already. Second, seeing becomes an ethical and cognitive discipline. Right? It is not even an ethical activity discipline. It is also going to be a cognitive discipline. Actually, what is happening with regard to any meditation, mindfulness practice, according to Satipaṭṭhāna, is that you are disciplining your cognitive aspects. Right? Normally, in the psychological perspective in today's world, they are trying to look at the true nature of the cognition. But Buddhism would like to change that experience to bring a lot of ethical aspects to the cognition. Wise movement harmonizes body and mind, right? Handling possessions trains reverence and simplicity, especially with regard to what we are carrying. Eating and drinking with wise awareness, cultivate moderation. We discussed that too. Mindfulness of bodily necessities dissolves aversion. This is interesting. This is about washroom activities, right? Because people are very rushing. Sometimes they are rushing, sometimes they are not even doing them mindfully. So then it will create enormous amount of hatred, dosa, anger. Wise awareness integrates all postures into a way of life. Finally,
Okay.
and the last one is contemplation contemplation culminates in wise awareness. Here, I want to pick up something. Here, this stage corresponds to metacognitive detachment. This is a psychological term. Awareness purified of ownership. The body is experienced as process, not possession. And life becomes a field of observation rather than identification. Also, I want to highlight one small thing before we get to Q&A. Okay, this one. This is in the point 7. In Sedaka Sutta, Samyutta Nikaya 47.19, the Buddha compares a mindful person to a tightrope walker, acrobat, maintaining balance in every moment. Wise awareness is that balance. May I tell you what happened in that sutta? Very interesting sutta. It's about Satipaṭṭhāna too. In that sutta, one acrobat who can do acrobating is going to climb a certain tree, I think a banyan tree, if I'm not mistaken. Then he is asking another person to jump onto his shoulders. Then the acrobat is telling the other person, can you protect me? So I will protect you. Right? And then the ordinary person is telling the acrobat, no, no, no. You protect yourself, I protect myself, so we both are protected. In the same way, Buddha says that any Satipaṭṭhāna practice has to be practiced by understanding one's role. All these are one's responsibilities, right? We cannot ask other people to take care of them all the time. So, in this way, what we can say at the end is that Sampajānapabba, the third Satipaṭṭhāna exercise, teaches us to bring wise awareness with regard to all the activities. Especially these activities are very much neglected. We know them barely, but they are very much neglected in the awareness. So please bring wise awareness with regard to these activities so that you will be able to make it a Satipaṭṭhāna practice under the Kayanupassana. All right, any questions now at this point? Okay, please make sure, please raise your virtual hand. Okay, let's see.
Bhante? Bhante?
Yes, Paduma, please.
To reconcile Iriyapada and Sampajana. So from Iriyapada, we have the intention, we know what we want to do. And Sampajana is we carry on with this knowing for each and every micro step and micro activity and micro movements. Am I right?
Yes, when it comes to Iriyapada, you simply know that you are in a posture. Whereas when it comes to Sampajana, you are even conscious about micro and macro movements of those postures.
I see. All right. Thank you, Bhante.
That's the larger, broader perspective. I got a question from TC Lim. Is multitasking possible when practicing Sampajana? Yes, physically you might be multitasking, but mentally you have to be unitasking. Right? Why is it? It is better to, let's say you do 4 things at the same time, but for the mind experience, it is better to do one thing at one time. Then you are able to catch up with the activity with some amount of wise awareness. Otherwise, you will be a jack of all trades. You will do nothing. You will do many things, but at the end, you may have not done anything. It's like some people, right? They do everything together, right? Like a salad, a hodgepodge. And then at the end, they have not come to any benefit of even the Dhamma practice. They learn a lot of things. But finally, their practice has not flourished. Right? That's why it's very important to learn carefully, gradually, carefully. Right? So then you have time to practice. And you make time to practice too. Otherwise, you will become one of the venerable Anandas, right? Who knew all the Dhamma but could not even attain enlightenment, right? Same thing. Right? So we will make time for those things. So I think even in modern life, we are driven to multitask. I think not even one of you, all of us. But we have to keep in mind every time when we are doing something. Let's say I talk now, I have to unitask this activity. Then I will take another question from you. Then it is another activity. So multitasking activity primarily came from machine activity and then it became a normal word. Yeah. Great. Other questions? It will take maybe 1 or 2 minutes. Yes, KBO, please.
Thank you, Bhante. Bhante, how does this Sampajana be related to this Bahya Sutta, where we're supposed to take the things as it is? So are we supposed to be like aware of it and take it as it is? Can Bhante please explain? Thank you.
Bahya Sutta is a reminder for our erratic activities, right? In this experience of being able to engage or being able not to engage due to our own perceptions and our erratic behavior, Bahya Sutta clearly gives us a remind. Hey, go back to the awareness. But here we understand ditte, ditta mattam bhavisati, sute sutta mattam bhavisati, mute mutta mattam bhavisati, viññāte viññāta mattam bhavisati. When you see, you just see. You know that you just see. When you hear, you just hear. But the problem is, when it comes to Sampajana, I have to understand what am I hearing now, right? So that means this Bahya Sutta is a generic reminder to go back to the wise awareness of Satipaṭṭhāna practice. It's a reminder for us. But in that, when someone reminds us, or when we are self-reminded in our own way, then we have to get to one of these Satipaṭṭhāna practices. So I think it's one of the greatest reminders into our practice.
Thank you, Bhante. Yes, understand now. Thank you.
Yes. But think about that. One of your loved ones is actually wearing a new type of clothing, and then she wants to show you off, and no, I just when I just see only, and then you will have a hard time in getting used to that kind of experience. You don't even notice that I'm wearing a new pair of clothes today, new pair of stuff today, right? So we look at it differently, right, in the experience. But Bahya Sutta is one of the very important reminders to go back to our any of the Satipaṭṭhāna practices. Right? Maybe we can take one more question and we will wrap this up. Now, Sutta says when we are silent, we have to know that we are silent. It is also wise awareness, right? And I also want to let you know that we cannot read the whole points because of the time. So you are supposed to read all that. So that's why it's kind of homework for the rest of the week to read all that. If there are no questions at this point, then shall we go to do the sharing, right? Okay. In that case, we are going to transfer and share all the good karmas. So today we have been learning the third Satipaṭṭhāna practice, one of the very important practices compared to other practices in Satipaṭṭhāna Sutta. So we learn about how to bring about wise awareness, and as I said, clear comprehension, full awareness could be a little bit what you call loose words with regard to the whole experience. So wise awareness has both awareness and ethical ground with regard to that experience. And then may all the good karmas we've been making today by learning about wise awareness, in Pali we call Sampajāna, be transferred to all departed ones who passed away in the name of all of us. May they be well and happy. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idang me ñāti nang hotu sukita huntu ñātayu. Idang me ñāti nang hotu sukita huntu ñātayu. Idang me ñāti nang hotu sukita huntu ñātayu. Next, we are going to share all the good karmas with Deva, Naga, Mahindika, who are protecting this universe at the same time protecting the whole world. May Deva, Naga, Mahindika receive all these good karmas. May they be well and happy. May they protect and bless all of you for good health, quality of life, prosperity, safety, and happiness. May they also wish you a seamless Dhamma journey, especially with your Dhamma practice. May they finally attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasatta cha bhummatta deva naga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu sasanam. Akasatta cha bhummatta deva naga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu desanam. Akasatta cha bhummatta deva naga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu mang parang chirang rakkhantu tvam sadati. Making our Dhamma wish, may we be able to be surrounded with Kalyana Mitras. May we also become Kalyana Mitras to as many sentient beings as we meet in this samsaric life till we attain Nibbana. Imina punya kammena mami bala samagamu satang samagamu hotu yava nibbana patiya. Finally, may all the good karmas we be making by learning about third Satipaṭṭhāna practice, Sampajānapabba, be supportive and helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana silissa niccang vaddha pachāino chattaru dhamma vaddhanti ayuvannu sukhang balang ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha atu nibbana sampatti iminati samicchatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. With those blessings, wishing you a pleasant good night till we see again on Friday. Good night,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bhante.
Good
Bhante.
night.
Thank you, Bhante. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bhante.
Bhante. Good night,
Thank you.
Bhante. Thank you.
Bhante.
Good night, brother and sister.
Thank
Brother
you.
and
Good night.
Bhante.
Good
Very
night.
good. Very